Good morning, Dons of Loyola Blakefield. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Mr. Bailey. I teach 9th and 10th grade English. I moderate the Magic the Gathering Club, and I'm head coach of Loyola Blakefield's varsity yearbook team. We define ourselves in many terms. I define myself as a father. I define myself as a husband. I define myself as a teacher. Defined as a Don. I'm defined as a patriot, and I'm a bit of a nerd, too. But above all of those things, I define myself as a Christian. I love Jesus Christ. I don't know when it became uncool to say that. I love Jesus. He's the ultimate superhero. He gave his life to save all of us. He was divine. He could have hopped off the cross, shot laser beams out of his eyes at the Romans, and given some Randy Orton-style RKOs to those Romans who were crucifying him, but he didn't. He suffered, he died, and he did it for us. The nails did not hold Jesus Christ to the cross. His love for us did. Now, when I say love for us, I don't mean love for the Loyola Dons. I don't mean love for Catholics. I don't mean his love for Christians held him to the cross. I mean his love for all of humanity held him to that cross. So I challenge you today, do we love people in the same way? Do we love each other in that sort of selfless, non-judgmental, accepting manner? We know we love our friends. I hope we love our parents. Presumably, we love our teachers. Hopefully, we love our fellow Dons as well. But do we love all of humanity like we love those people? Today, we're asked to reflect on why we're thankful for our faith. I believe I'm thankful for my faith's ability to teach me to love. But I have failed a lot, just like many of you have. Here's an example. How many of you have seen or even played the game Cards Against Humanity? For those of you who don't know how it works, one player, we'll just call them the judge, reads a prompt. And then the other players have to play a card from their hand that responds to the prompt in a funny way. And the judge decides which of those answers is the funniest. And the player who gets chosen gets a point. And then it's first to however many points wins, right? It's a simple game. A lot of the cards are like super gross. They deal with various bodily fluids and lewd acts and pop culture figures. I've played this game an embarrassing amount. One day, me and the fellas, we're on this camping trip together, right? And we're playing this game late at night. The prompt that the judge reads says, "Make blank great again." And we have to fill in the blank. And I don't remember what I played at this point, right? We're all digging through our hands, we're putting down our cards, and I don't remember what I put down. But I do remember that one of the cards that was put down said, Auschwitz. Make Auschwitz great again. You're laughing. I hear some of you laughing. And so did this group of my fellas, sitting around, drinking a few cold beers on a summer night, laughing hysterically over Make Auschwitz Great Again. You see, but this time things were a little different. You see, my friend who was there had recently become a dad. And he had married a Jewish woman a few years prior, and they had a beautiful little daughter named Ruth. In Jewish culture, the faith of the mother determines the faith of the child. So their new beautiful little baby, this little girl named Ruth, would be raised Jewish. So while the rest of us are laughing and high-fiving and giggling over Make Auschwitz Great Again, I look across the campfire and I see my best friend, a Loyola Don, a guy who graduated with me in 2000, and I see this puzzled look on his face when he looks around and sees all of his best friends making jokes about the extermination of an entire group of people of whom his wife and daughter are a part. 11 million people were killed in the Holocaust. 1.3 million alone killed in Auschwitz. And any children who went there would have been killed right away. Children like this beautiful little baby Ruth. She would have been exterminated. That's the word they used, exterminated for just being who she was born to be. And here we are, bunch of good guys, bunch of Christians. You know, we thought ourselves, we're good people. I work in a Catholic school. I'm a good guy, right? And there we are, high-fiving and laughing over this joke at the expense of these people who have suffered so much. Now, I haven't played that game since, and I will never play it again. It still sells like crazy. I'm sure many of you will see it at bars and parties in the course of the next year. I was in Target the other night, and they had a pre-Black Friday sale on games. And there was Cards Against Humanity in the toy section. In the toy section. So this is a game that allows players to make jokes about the attempted extermination of an entire type of human being, and it's right next to the My Little Ponies that my daughter is looking at. Some of you guys are probably thinking, come on, Mr. Bailey, lighten up, man. It's just a joke, right? Why do you got to be so serious? It's funny, right? Just a joke and just kidding are lines that ignorant people use when they say hurtful things, and they don't want to admit it. I'm just kidding is a mask we hide behind when we are saying something racist or homophobic or sexist. It's an invocation of our privilege. My faith tells me how to treat other people with love and not with hate, with compassion and not with judgment, with tolerance and not with bigotry, and I'm thankful for that. Jesus tells us in Matthew, do to others whatever you would have them do to you. And he also says, stop judging that you may not be judged. I'm so grateful that my faith taught me that lesson. I'm a Christian. More specifically, my family recently has joined the Episcopalian Church. So we begin our Eucharist each weekend with our rector saying, all are welcome here. This is not the table of the church. This is the table of the Lord, and no one is turned away from the Lord. My church welcomes everyone. Christians and Muslims and Jewish people, gay people, straight people, and bisexual people, cisgender, transgender, non-binary people, all are welcome at the table of the Lord. Because isn't that fundamentally what Jesus teaches us to do? Welcome everyone to our table? He had the guy that was going to kill him eating dinner with him at the Last Supper. He loved people fearlessly and selflessly. And that's not always easy. We live in a culture where sexist, homophobic, and racist things are, that's funny, it was just a joke. You might get mocked, teased, or ostracized when you hear that for fighting back against that culture, for calling out people on hateful comments. But Jesus laid his life down for you. The least you can do is try to do the same for your fellow men. Jesus died so that we might live. I cannot forget that, and I hope you don't either. We reward that gift every time we show love for one another. I'm grateful that my faith has taught me love and tolerance, but I'm not perfect. I cringe when I think about what I was like just 5 years ago. A totally different man. I've learned so many lessons along the way. I said so many stupid, hateful, ignorant things just to get a laugh. I've hurt people, and I know it. But my faith has taught me to open my heart to others, and I'm grateful for that redemptive love. So the next time you find yourself needing to say, oh, I was just kidding, or it was just a joke, the challenge to you today is to say this instead. Say, I'm sorry. And be grateful for a faith that will give you the courage to do that. Thank you.